Folks, welcome back. Doug with Stacking Investments here with episode 5 of my little mini series of lesson learned setting up over the years. That's 40 to 45 plus years of lessons we learned about setting up at the flea market to maximize profits and sell the most you can sell at the flea market. I should state that even following these lessons, this is market dependent. It doesn't guarantee you will make a fortune. It depends on the market type. It depends on, do the people that are at the market have money, or are they just out for a Saturday or Sunday walk or whatever. It depends on the time, on the day of the week that the market is. But for the most part, if you are at a good market, this is the way to maximize the sales you're going to make and give you the best chance to have a good day at the market. We've been through 1, 2, 3, and 4. We are on number 5, and number 5 is avoid setup at the entrance or at the end of the row spot. So set that aside. This was my chart for lesson 3 and 4, and here is, I've kind of preset this up. This is lesson 5. How many times have you heard location, location, location? This is the big thing with retail. When you open a retail store, location, location, location. That's basically the most common used thing when a store, it's how Walmart plans where they put their Walmarts. That's where, your Walgreens or CVS pharmacies, your restaurants like McDonald's, Burger King, all that, gas stations, you name it, businesses, location, location, location. Now, granted, setting up at the flea market is different than actually opening a store somewhere. But location, location, location applies at the flea market. You do not, let's say this is the entrance, or this up here is the entrance. This applies outside. This also applies if you're setting up, if you have to bring your stuff in, say you're in a cold climate, you're setting up indoors, and people coming in the door, there's 2 reasons you don't want to be the first or second spot at the main entrance where people come in. Number 1, every time the door opens on a cool day, on a cold day, you're going to get the draft. What does that do? That makes you uncomfortable. It also makes the shoppers who just came in out of the cold, they do not want to be standing there at your booth with people coming and going out of the door in that cold draft coming in. Also, when people come into the market, they want to get into the market. They don't want to be, they're not going to start here because they come in, they see your booth, but they want to get down in where the action is. Or when they get there, they might see somebody 4 or 5 tables down that's a friend of theirs, and they bypass you right off the bat. So the first 2 spots at an entrance are usually the worst. Doesn't matter. Start of the row where people are filtering in. There's a whole lot in the market. They want to get to it. They will pass you by. Some people think those entrance spots are the best because you get the people, you catch the people coming, you catch the people going, so you catch them twice. Because especially if there's only one entrance. If there's only, say this was a walled-off building, and the only entrance was here, with you being in these spots here, you catch the people coming in, you catch the people leaving, because that's the only way in, that's their only way out. That has merit, but for the most part, it's a bad plan. These spots are a no-no. They are a no-no. X them off right now. Now, location, location, location also applies to being at the end of the row. That makes this spot, this spot, this spot, and this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot, and this spot as a big no. 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 As I've said in earlier videos on things, this has to do with the subconscious and psychological aspects of how people in general act. They will take the shortest path unless something catches their eye. You do not want to rely on something on your table catching their eye when you're setting up at the flea markets. I'll explain this. I've got the flow, the way people work. Let's exclude this as being the entrance now, and let's say these are straight on through. These are the 2 rows at the flea market. Your ideal spot is to be somewhere in the middle. You want to be in the middle of the action. That's where you want to be. I didn't put on here because some places, like where I set up at, every so often in the row, there's actually not a spot. It is actually it's a walkway, and it's a path. It is a path for people to walk through. It's a cut through. Sometimes these aisles here are 50, 60 spots long, and they put these walkways where the public can get through, because there might be bathrooms up here. So instead of having to walk all the way around, they have some built-in places. If you watch my video where I was talking about the barnyard, you can see with the covered area, there was a covered walkways between the different rows. When that happens, although this is a corner spot, that's a no, 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 and no. While these seem like good areas because people are cutting through, they're cutting back to get into the action. So I have 4 spots here, and there's this walkway. You don't want to be there. You want to be here. You want to get in this area. You want to be in the action. Sometimes this is okay. These right here, sometimes they're okay. But the most part, you want to be in the center of the action. You want to be where people are coming this way. They got no way to go but this way or this way. You want to be here. The reason you want to avoid an end spot is, let's say you're in this spot and it's the end of the row, or even this spot, and the vendor setting here either left a cut through, or there's no vendor set up there at all. People in their infinite wisdom, instead of walking down to the end and cutting up and go through, they see a shortcut, and they will cut that every time. Well, guess what? If you're this vendor, they're not even looking at your table. They're cutting through. Path of the shortest resistance. They don't have to walk this way. They can save a few steps. It's just the human nature. Take the shortest path. If there's an open spot here, or vendors have left a cut through, the general public will use it. They have an out. They don't have to go all the way here and then up and come in. They will take that. Same thing, when they cut around, they're cutting in. They're not going to go all the way up here and then start, unless you have something that catches their eye. They're going to circle this corner. Same thing if you were set up in this spot. They're coming around. Next row's this way. guess which side of the aisle they're going to be on to make that right turn to come down to the next row. They're going to be over here. These two spots, unless you have something fantastic and you're catching people's eyes, they're going to cut this way and they're going to come around and they're going to miss you completely. So avoid end of the row. Do not be at the end, the two spots at the end of the row. Do not do it. If a vendor packs up ahead of you in the line, if they pack up and leave a spot open, or they leave a major way for people to cut through because they set up something like this that allows people to cut through, they will take it. People will do that. They will take shortcuts. And they consider themselves walking the market even though they did not look at your stuff. That's why it's very important. Never, ever, ever get stuck at the end of the row. Don't do it. Even if it's only a one row market, people will come down like I have here. Say this is the only row in the market. And the people come down and they're walking whichever side it is. They are not going to come down and check out both tables. 90% of the people are going to cut early. They're going to take a quick glance at what you have from a distance, and they're going to circle this and go back. It saves them, believe it or not, by them cutting early and circling back, it saves them all this time with all these steps here. People are lazy. Keep that in mind. They are lazy, and they will cut this every time. You don't believe me? If you're at a flea market, watch the end of the row. Get down close and just maybe talk with a vendor and just casually glance at the 4 vendors here and watch the people. They will cut this early. Only about 10-15% of the people will actually walk down, cut across, and come back. The majority of the people will do a quick glance, circle around, and come back. If they don't see something that catches their eye that they can't live without, they will make this circle early to go back. So anyways, that is lesson 5. I appreciate you watching. I hope you learned something, and we will catch you on episode 6. Until then, y'all be good.